Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3, and we are back once again with The Undertaker, The Last Ride, Chapter 3. This time it is called The End of an Era. We are here to review The Undertaker, The Last Ride, 5-part series. It is me, along with the connoisseur of all reporting, our quarterback for this series, Mr. Romeo Anthony Colon.
Yes, let's do this. End of an era, huh? This got to be the last episode then.
It seems like it was so long ago, 2012, that legendary matchup, which they talk about in this episode of The Undertaker: The Last Ride. So before we get into anything, please, this is just your quick little reminder. If you enjoyed this video, drop us a like, push the subscribe button and the bell to stay notified for all the great content right here on True Hill Heat. So Romeo, Chapter 3. End of an era. Let's get into it.
We continue where we left off. Taker complaining about the time of his match with John Cena. Backstage, Stephanie tells him he was awesome. Taker's like, no, bless your heart.
It's like, don't lie to me, honey.
Bless your heart down south just means, what the fuck is wrong with you? Taker asks his youngest daughter, are you okay that I beat John Cena? And the youngest daughter, I can't believe Daddy won.
Yeah, he says that his daughter is usually asleep when he won in the past, and she's only been awake for his losses. She's only seen him the end of the streak and everything else that Undertaker probably doesn't remember himself. His daughter remembers.
That's crazy. I've been to 3 WrestleManias now, and 2 of them Taker lost. That's crazy.
You're his bad luck charm, apparently.
Taker we start talking about Saudi Arabia. He talks about Jeddah. The importance of building a relationship with the Saudis. Taker versus Rusev. Remember that casket match? Originally Jericho was supposed to face Taker. It ended up being Rusev.
I remember the controversy before the match more than the actual match. Chris Jericho was originally supposed to be in the match. Then, no. First it was Rusev in the match. Then WWE, I guess, got the call from Saudi, like, no, we need a bigger star against The Undertaker. So they put in Chris Jericho versus The Undertaker as a change of plans. And then the fans, as well as apparently, according to WWE, the Saudi Arabia government, the prince, just said, no, Rusev needs to be in that match. So that match was changed twice before they even got to Saudi.
The Saudi fans love The Undertaker. Of course, they never get to see him. Taker says the reception never gets old and it keeps an old guy young. Then we go to MSG, Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena, for what looks like The Undertaker's final time there. Garden lit up purple beautifully. Undertaker talks about soaking it in one last time, looking into the crowd, looking into the faces, and really, absorbing the energy of what could be the final time at MSG in New York.
Sure.
Triple H says those closure moments help if they're great, but it's a catch-22. If those closure moments are great, it makes you want to have another one. Another one.
Another one. It's a very much a catch-22 because it works both ways. If those like final moments is great, you think you can have another one. If it's not as good, you want to redeem yourself. So it's a never-ending saga. The victim of this is Michelle McCool. Bless her heart.
Started leading up to Undertaker versus Triple H, Super Showdown, Australia. Triple H talks about how they were out one night back in the day. Taker motions him over. Says, you know what? You're all right. They have 2 shots of Jack, even though Hunter doesn't drink. And Hunter says his respect was earned from The Undertaker.
I like this moment, like them talking about their friendship, that they kind of developed over time. It was very cool. It was like the touching moment of this whole episode. Like they've kind of touched on his relationship with Michelle. They've touched on his relationship with Vince. So them touching on Triple H in this episode was a very nice moment, kind of to bring it all together, and the reason why he would have this matchup when he knew it wasn't going to end well.
Yeah, Hunter says, they're not the best of friends, but they got respect for each other. They could talk to each other about anything. And Taker says vice versa. Triple H says Undertaker was very supportive of Hunter's relationship with Stephanie McMahon and that he was even in the wedding. So they showed some wedding pics. Taker says no disrespect to anyone, but he is the most proud of his 4 matches with HBK and Triple H. Of course, WrestleMania 25, 26, 27, 28. Those 4 matches. Outside of the ring, it was no secret that Shawn Michaels, back in the day, rubbed Undertaker the wrong way. Just like he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But inside the ring, Taker says there's nobody he'd rather work with.
They just had a chemistry from the very beginning, from their first feud in 1997 all the way through to when they met again at WrestleMania 25. They just always had that chemistry, even their little moments like the Royal Rumble 2007 or the Royal Rumble 2008 being in the ring at the same time. It was always a special moment when it's Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. I definitely like them talking about how their relationship also developed over the years to kind of later explain why someone would go back on their word to have a good time with his friends.
Shawn Michaels, remember, finds the Lord, and Taker says he's a new person. At WrestleMania 25, they create magic. Perhaps the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. Triple H, do you remember what Triple H tells Randy Orton during this match?
We're fucked. He just saw Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker have the greatest matchup in WrestleMania history, and he knew that he was closing the show, and he once again was fucked. It seems like every time Triple H is in the main event of WrestleMania, you either have the Hardys, Dudleys, and Edge and Christians go out there and make history. You either have Hogan and Rock make a moment that no one will ever forget, or you have Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker have the instant classic to end all instant classics at WrestleMania. So Triple H just shouldn't be in the main event of WrestleMania, it seems. Even if you go back 4 years ago, he's in the main event of WrestleMania, the highest, the most attended WrestleMania in history, and he shit the bed again with Roman Reigns, and the women stole the show right from underneath him, or the first match on the show, either or.
Undertaker talks about WrestleMania 26, Arizona, Shawn Michaels' retirement. He said Shawn Michaels got the John Elway retirement. John Elway, the famous Denver Broncos quarterback, he left on top. He won a Super Bowl and he retired and he never came back. Shawn Michaels got to leave on top on his terms. And we see Triple H, Vince McMahon backstage, emotional, as Taker and Shawn hugging Gorilla following Shawn Michaels' last match.
Yeah, it's very much the best comparison. There's a couple of people you can compare Shawn Michaels to in sports, but definitely Michael Jordan is one that I've heard in the past because of the dual retirements. Michael Jordan did have a career-ending back injury, but they had the similar, retiring at an early age, and then came back, and they were both better than they were before, and they both went out on top. Michael Jordan, Game 6, as we just saw in the Last Dance documentary, and then here with Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 26. And unfortunately, both had the episode 11, The Last Wizard.
Taker says he's so envious of Shawn because he was able to walk away and he was good with it. And he says, do I wish I had that kind of clarity? Absolutely. He had that going into the match. One way or another, Taker hopes he has that clarity. Austin says, Taker, still no pun intended, wrestling with it. He's been doing it so long, it's hard to give up the thing you love the most. Foley says, it's hard to come up with a storybook ending for this incredible character. I believe there will come a time when he knows it's time to say goodbye, and it'll be almost understood that we've seen the last of a true phenomenon. And Edge says, I want it to go right for him, to have that proper moment. I really hope he gets it. And if he gets it, that he knows to take it and finally close the door. Edge is interesting saying that because Edge had the injury that retired him, and now he's back for one final run. Shawn Michaels like.
But I think with Edge, he has more of like an understanding of he's on borrowed time,
Oh yes.
and I think Edge will know when the time is over. I
believe
don't
so as well.
Through watching this documentary and watching him over the last what has been 6-7 years, I don't believe Undertaker has that in him. I don't believe Undertaker will ever know when it's time. That it's kind of sad that he has to have it's kind of the more we watch the series, it's kind of like he has to have his Shawn Michaels Edge retirement. He has to be forced to retire.
Taker Triple H, WrestleMania 27. Triple H feels the pressure of having to follow those two Shawn Michaels matches at WrestleMania. Brutal match in a good way, of course. Great match. They talk of Hell in a Cell and the history of Hell in a Cell, and it leads to WrestleMania 28 with Shawn Michaels as the referee. You know, these three guys, they pretty much tell the story of Hell in a Cell. Super kick into the pedigree kick out. They say it's one of the best kick outs of all time. One of the best near falls of all time. You thought the streak was over right there. And then walking out together after the match was over was organic and real. Taker and Triple H talk about how special it was to them. Taker has a photo that Triple H gave to him. He has it hanging above his gym of the three of them on that stage together, walking out. The end of an era.
That was WWE's last great long-form storytelling. Like, long-form story over 4 years. That was WWE's last great story that they told. Like, all these other stories that we've seen over the last couple of years have kind of more or less happened by accident. But this was the one that it kind of did also happen by accident, but they kind of were able to go with the flow of what was happening in real life. You know, Shawn Michaels wants to retire. Okay, we're going to make this match about his retirement. Oh, Shawn is gone. Okay, Triple H, you got to defend your best friend's honor. Oh, okay, we got to follow up from this because this was so good. Oh, we've never had a Hell in a Cell. We're the two guys known for Hell in a Cell. Let's make Shawn the referee. Like, they just organically formed this story over 4 years that was just magical. And you can make it a fifth year because the symmetry of Shawn Michaels ending Ric Flair's career at WrestleMania 24 bleeds into his matchup at WrestleMania 25 with The Undertaker. So just that 5-year storytelling between Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, The Undertaker, and Triple H hasn't been topped since.
We see a scene of Undertaker and one of the athletic trainers playing cards. It's a light segment. Shows you, Undertaker, the person, hanging out with just a normal guy. Very reminiscent of, if you've seen The Last Dance, MJ hanging out with the security guys. Remember that?
Very, very reminiscent of that, and I actually got some relatability from this because Undertaker talks about how he has that friendship with the trainer, through all his injuries in the past, and he says that if you know that I'm cool with you or I consider you a friend by how much I give you a hard time, and I give what was the trainer's name? I didn't
write it down, but that quality does remind me of a certain somebody.
Yes, it reminds me of me. I dig at the people that I like the most. You see that every week on True Hill Heat with me and Top Guy JJ. You see that sometimes on True Rewind with me and Romeo. Like I love these guys, but I have to give them a hard time because that's my only way of showing affection.
Remember Super Showdown? Bald Michaels interferes. Triple H wins. Post-match beatdown from the Brothers of Destruction on DX. Taker says backstage they did their job setting up the next act of this new story.
So this was like the whole super showdown. It was the tagline for this one wasn't end of an era. It was one last time. But as Undertaker just confirmed, it was never going to be the last time. It was only to set up the next matchup. And I love them talking about how Brothers of Destruction versus DX is something that all the fans wanted to see. Yeah, we really wanted to see that in 2018. Yep.
Taker says it's a dream for all four of them to be together in the ring one last time. There's no weak links. And then we see this awesome backstage segment. They're doing a promo. They're filming a promo. Kane says, "You had 3 words for us. Are you ready?" "Well, we have 3 words for you." And Undertaker says,
"Go fuck yourself."
What a swerve. I was expecting rest in peace. What a swerve.
I loved it because
and then Kane does the cross chop.
He said it in the Undertaker voice as well. That's what made it awesome. I love these lighthearted segments with the Undertaker. This really shows the human side and the relatability of the Undertaker with moments like that. That was pretty cool. That was awesome.
We see some old backstage footage. Kane in the old Kane gear. Kane says back in the day, everyone was protective of their spots, looking out for themselves. Never the case with Mark. Mark always wanted to help the new guys along. And he was always an advocate for specifically Kane, who Kane says he never would have had the career that he had without Mark Calloway. And Kane also mentions that his first Mania match versus Taker is Kane's favorite match of all time.
I don't blame him because it's one of the best build-ups to a WrestleMania match ever. Did a top 10 best builds to a WrestleMania match, and that definitely made the list. It was like 6-7 months of build up leading up to it. Just amazing stuff. So the match, I'm not a big fan of the match per se, but it gave us what we were looking for. It was a monster to be up to the level of the Undertaker, and that's what we got.
Undertaker says you can count on Glenn Jacobs, just like you could count on the sun coming up in the morning. One of the few guys that he would let hold his wallet.
That's an honor.
Triple H 100% surprised that HBK comes out of retirement. Sean says it was the 3 guys in the ring that made him come out of retirement. He said it was going to be fun. I think it was the money, personally. What do you think?
I think it was the money as well.
It's all about the money.
I think it was the money, but I don't know if he would call that fun.
We'll get to it. Crown Jewel, November 2nd, 2018. What can go wrong? Triple H says he and Taker are doing the once in a while thing. Shawn hasn't wrestled in years, and Kane's the mayor. He says it was a bad comedy. Early on in the match, Triple H tears his pec going over the top rope. Triple H recalls the look of panic on Shawn's face when he told him. But wait, there's more. Shawn does that exact face you just saw again when he accidentally punches Kane's mask off.
You saw it. You saw it when they played it back. He was like... Oh my God, Shawn made this match with his facial expressions, the smile, even the smile at the end.
Yeah. Triple H says it couldn't have gone worse. Taker says total train wreck, a disaster. Triple H musters the best pedigree he can for the win on Kane. Shawn says it totally blew. They show him walking backstage. No standing ovation for this one. Shawn says. What did Shawn say? He says they missed it by this much.
By that much. Yo, that was vintage Shawn. That was vintage Shawn. Shawn Michaels would say that after he had a bad match.
Taker says mentally he wasn't there. Michelle and himself had some things going on with other parts of the family. Taker says if the match could have come off the way it was intended to, it may have been enough for him to retire. Do you believe the what Taker's saying about this family problems, or do you think it's a cover up?
I can't. I would love to say, I would love to, but I can't for certain say.
Right.
But it's just how many times can it be a mental issue? It was a mental issue at WrestleMania 33. It was a mental issue. You got knocked the hell out at WrestleMania 30. It's a mental issue at Crown Jewel, Sweet Saudi Money 3 or 4. I forget what number it was. But yeah,
You lose
it's like
track.
how many times can he blame like his mental, like how many times can you mentally not be in a matchup before you say that maybe you shouldn't be wrestling anymore? If you can't mentally get in that zone anymore, then I'm sorry. Like I keep trying. I know a lot of people watching this are Undertaker fans. They're enjoying the series because they get to humanize a character that they love for so many years. I loved them for so many years as well. It's just the past 6 years that I can't get over. And all this documentary is saying to me is that all the stuff I've been saying are the doubts that are going on in his head. And it's just like, then why is no one? Why is Vince? Why is Michelle? Why is Sean? Why is Hunter? Why are all these people enabling him to keep going? I understand he has the will. I understand he has the determination. I understand he wants to do it. I understand in a lot of his mind and his heart, he needs to do it. But maybe he just can't do it anymore.
We got a lot of great quotes here in this ending of this chapter. Michelle, remember, she says it's a vicious cycle. He's got to redeem himself. Sean says it's chasing the dragon and it's not healthy. Triple H says it's hard to break the cycle and get out of it. Michelle thought WrestleMania 33 was it. With the jacket and the hat, she thought that was it. But he wasn't ready. Batista says if Undertaker has to put his body on the line over and over and over again, he'll just keep doing it until you tell him to stop. Can't do it anymore. Jim Ross, I love this line. He says, Father Time doesn't do any jobs. Father Time doesn't lose any matches.
That's the only undefeated streak still intact.
Mr. McMahon says when you look in the mirror, you want to make sure the person looking back at you is reality. HBK says everyone's got to look in the mirror and have that come to Jesus talk. When everything is said and done, this is HBK still speaking, it's with the misses and the kids that you have to have real peace and real joy, or else that disintegrates too. I thought that was deep line. Deepest line of the episode. Taker ends the episode saying Michelle told him, you're just never going to get that one thing you're looking for, and now you got all this other crap going on, and he's spinning out of control now, and he's got to make some life changes.
And
what about all these quotes?
I mean, like before we
it got
even
a little deep there at the end. Like it
got really
personal.
deep. It got really deep with what Sean had to say because it's you start to have that question with how we're getting that, behind the scenes look at his family life is how is his seemingly addiction to keep wrestling affecting his relationship with his wife Michelle, his relationship with his kids, because he has to devy his focus from being dad to preparing to be the Undertaker for all this time until these matches. So it's like, is this having a toll not only on his body, not only on him mentally, emotionally, but is it having a toll on the people that he loves and the people around him? And it's something that, jokingly, I said before as well. I said, why does this man want to keep being the Undertaker when he could be under Michelle McCool? Like, I'm sorry. One is greater than the other. One is going to cause more pain, and the other is going to bring your family together. So I don't understand why the choice is being made the opposite.
We got a preview of the next chapter, chapter 4 of 5. It's not until June 14th, so we have some time here. He says he's coming to grips with that his days in the ring are numbered. He discusses Mania 35. He doesn't have an opponent. He says he's okay with that, he thinks. And watching the show backstage at Gorilla, he mentions he should be out there. And then, of course, we get into the Goldberg match. That's going to be chapter 4 also.
Oh, boy. Oh boy. And then Michelle at the end with the line, she was like, I called our doctors immediately to ask if he was
Yeah.
okay. Like, come on. Like, why are you putting your wife through this, bruh? Why? Is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? That's all I gotta ask. That's all I gotta ask you watching this. If you made it this far into this review, do you think that The Undertaker has anything left to wrestle for? Like, that's what I want to know. I don't think he does. I think he's accomplished everything he needs to accomplish. I think that the more he wrestles, the more disappointed he is going to be with the end of his career. So he just needs to end it now. I say he has nothing to wrestle for. You've already done everything you can. What
And
about you, Romeo?
he can always he doesn't have to have any more matches. He can always come back. If he misses the crowd, misses that pop, nobody's gonna be mad if he just makes a random entrance, comes in the ring, does a choke slam or something to somebody, a tombstone maybe if he can do it. But nobody's gonna be mad at that. You don't have to have a match. You're good. You're good. Just show up every now and then and surprise us. The Undertaker. I mean, people will love that,
Exactly.
and
Like
your
you
family will love that.
absolutely. Like I don't get it. Like it's like you can show up and you can be the Sting. The Sting, the guy that just shows up to be the savior, that just shows up, choke slam somebody. Elias is talking crap to the crowd. Choke slam. The Undertaker comes, he goes. We'll see him in another 6 months. King Corbin running roughshod over SmackDown. The Undertaker comes in, Tombstone Power Driver. King Corbin's done for now. Like, come on. He could just be this guy, comes in, does his shtick, gets the roar of the crowd, leaves. We don't have to keep seeing these matches, and we definitely don't need to see you go 30 minutes like you want to.
SP3, did you enjoy this episode? How did it rank against the first two?
I'd say it's on par with the first episode in my opinion. Slightly down from episode 2, but I definitely enjoyed it. 7.5 out of 10 would be my rating scale. How about you?
I thought it was a little bit better than the second episode. Excuse me, than the first episode. I thought the second episode was still the best. But I'm enjoying this story being told. Chapter 4 is going to be crazy. And I really want to know, what is this all going to end on in Chapter 5? What is the ending of this? Is this a realization that I got to be home with my family and that's it? Or is it more of what we fear? I've got to have one more match. And here it is. I've made up my mind.
I think we are setting up for SummerSlam, AJ Styles versus The Undertaker. Whether that's in front of a crowd, whether that's not in front of the crowd.
He's gonna say it. It has to be in front of fans. He's not gonna have it last in front of nobody.
I mean,
so he'll extend it even further if he has to. That'll be his excuse. You give an addict an open door, they will open it all the way.
You give them any type of excuse to use, they will use. It's sad to say, but I think you're right. Yeah, it has to be in front of fans. That's going to be his reason, because he had a great match at WrestleMania, but it wasn't in front of fans. So that's going to be the reason why he can't end it off on there. But I don't see him saying, oh, I'm going to retire. I'm going to be at home, spend time with my family. Maybe he's forced to right now because we're all in quarantine, but it's not something that's permanent. So, of course, as always, guys, post your comments down below and tell us what you thought about The Undertaker, The Last Ride, Chapter 3, End of an Era. Do you think The Undertaker has anything left to wrestle for? And what do you think episode 5 or chapter 5 of this series will end off on? Will The Undertaker retire, or will he have one more match? If you enjoyed this video, push that like button. We want this video to be the most liked of all of our Undertaker The Last Ride reviews, so attack that like button, show your support to the series, and push the subscribe button and the bell to stay notified for all the great content right here on True Hill Heat. So, for the connoisseur of all reporting, Mr. Romeo Anthony Colon, It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been The Undertaker, The Last Ride, Chapter 3 review, signing off until next time.